To be honest, I was sitting on a toilet, and I happened to just have my palm facing up in my lap, and the light that was shining down on my wrist, I saw these three what appeared to be fresh needle marks, perfect little tiny red dots with a scab, and I of course have no memory of getting any needle injections or punctures or marks. Um, but what made it really, really bizarre and just beyond being able to dismiss away as something naturally occurring was that they formed this perfect little right triangle, three little dots right in the crease of my wrist that made a perfectly shaped little equilateral triangle. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Right? So the next thought that went through my head was immediately, oh shit, I drove by Mount Shasta last night and it was really weird. And what if something happened to me there? Um, just speculating. I'm not saying anything for sure, but how does one end up with perfectly, three dots, three needle puncture marks on their wrist in the shape of a perfect triangle by accident? Did I run into a triangle thorn bush? I mean, I don't. It was fucking weird. And then add to it that after I'm looking at my right wrist, floored and aghast, I happen to look over at my left wrist, in the exact same pretty much spot on my left wrist are three dots in the exact same shape of this triangle, but they look like they were scars and had been there probably some time and were healed. They were white little dots, like scar tissue. So, but forming the same little triangular shape. So that's weird. I mean, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist or, you know, a jumping to conclusions kind of speculator type of person to say that's pretty fucking weird, right? So I'd love to know if anyone else has found anything like that. I believe I found another symbol like that on one of my legs several years later. It was actually about a year ago when I was actually leaving California and going back to Seattle. And then just about 3 weeks ago, right here on my first right hand finger, um, I don't think it shows up anymore, but I do have photos. Um, that same three dots forming a triangle showed up on my finger when I woke up one morning. I noticed it. I do have photos of that. So that again is just, there's no explaining that away as a naturally occurring injury. How does one get three dots in the shape of a triangle? And that's like the fourth time I found that on my body. Um, I also very frequently will wake up in the morning and feel like a little bit of pain on one of my fingers, and I find these little, they're almost like paper cuts or something, about 2 millimeters long. They're very small, but they hurt, and I don't have any memory of how I acquired those. That is not so much anomalous, and it could just be dry skin or, you know, some simple little trauma that I acquired picking up some glass or something. Pardon me for the hiccups there, burps or whatever the heck that was. Um, Anyway, I get those a lot. I'm not saying those are necessarily anything, but I wonder if anyone else gets those type of little cuts and injuries on their fingers. I get them on the tips and sides of my fingers too. I just had one recently here on the inside of my right middle finger. Um, then, as I mentioned, this scab on my rib, it's right between two ribs. Um, that makes my brain start to churn, but I won't go into my speculation about that. That looks much more like a natural injury. And I'm probably forgetting other things at this point. Like I said, I am going to scour through old photos, and if I find some more, because I usually do take pictures of this kind of stuff when I find it, I will add to this video or make a part two. But I just really wanted to see if anyone else finds in general marks on their body that they don't know how they acquired, and if that happens frequently, and if anyone else in particular has found these triangular shaped formations of three dots, which to me it's hands down weird stuff that I sure can't find any natural explanation for. So I've been filming a lot of videos lately. There's been a lot of information I want to put out there that I feel like God wants me to put out there, but at the right time. I have some pretty, what I think is compelling information that I've been anxious and scared to put out because it involves perpetrators who I'm frankly pretty scared of, and I'm afraid to talk about them, and I'm also afraid to talk about some of the things I think I've discovered that I believe God has shown me and wants me to put out there. But it's really scary. So, anyway, I will be posting some other videos, and I just want to say again, I really appreciate all of you guys. As kind of corny as it might sound, I consider you my family of some sort, and I will just say I pray for every last one of you all the time. I pray for everybody, but I especially pray for the victims of this dark agenda on this planet, and that includes perpetrators. I wish harm and suffering on no one, including people who've inflicted tons of that on me. I will not be like you. So I hope you all know that I'm praying for you, and God is the only way, the only salvation for all of us. So I really urge any perpetrators watching this to please turn to God. That's the only way you're gonna be okay either. Because if you don't, I bet a lot of you do know it, and you're being scared and threatened. But if you don't know, in both categories, the people handling you don't give a crap about you. So turn to God. You know, they're going to throw you in the fire as soon as they become compromised themselves and their safety is at risk. So as Gotham Nation put it so well, you guys are just the bottom layer of defense, and you'll be the first to get thrown in the fire. So that's why I'm praying for you. I feel bad for all of you, and God bless everyone. Stay strong on each side of the equation, because I know we're all suffering in our own ways. So I'm no man's judge, and I'm praying for all of you. Lots of love. Stay strong. And please post some comments and feedback if you guys have anything to say about the anomalous markings on your body showing up, or anything about mine. Thanks, guys.